Hey, Screwball here. I know it's been a while. I was supposed to have this video out a couple of weeks ago. It's been a busy couple of weeks trying to get everything caught up around the house. Went back to work, not getting home till late, so I just haven't taken the time to do a video. I started it a couple of days ago and got about 4 or 5, 6 questions answered, and I've done put 20 minutes on the video, so I decided to back up and let Nancy, so I didn't have to sit there and look at them and read all of them. Let Nancy go ahead and ask the questions. So maybe we'll get this one done a little bit faster. It may end up being a 2-part video. I'm not going to go over 15 minutes with it if I have to go to for 2 videos. So we're going to get this thing started. Q&A from my last video. Appreciate all y'all that had questions, and hope to get all these questions answered. Maybe we can say who asked the questions, but we're going to leave that up to Nancy. So here we go. Let's see what we got.
A. McGee, do you miss trail life?
No, not really. Hadn't been home long enough to miss it, I don't think.
Would you do it again?
Don't have any plans on doing it again. I wanted to do it. That was my dream to do it, so I've done it. And I may do some weekend or some kind of hikes, but no, I'll not do AT again as far as complete AT.
What changes have you made in your everyday life because of the trail?
Oh, changes I've made in my life because of the trail. I don't guess I've made any.
Nothing.
You know. So.
When's the next big adventure, Jamesburg?
Next big adventure, haven't got anything planned right now.
CDT or
no, I'll not be doing any other long trails. I've done the AT, that's what I wanted to do, and I'll not be doing any more long trails at any time.
And let's see, this is from Mandy S.
Let the dog get out of here. He's making more noise than I am.
Mandy S. Anything on your journey make you uncomfortable, uneasy, or nervous?
No, nothing that I know of made me nervous or uncomfortable. We, you know, with the guys I was with, I felt comfortable. Never got any kind of situations as far as out in the woods. I've lived around out and about in the woods all my life, spent time in the woods. So, no, I don't think there was anything really out there that made me uncomfortable or nervous.
Dennis Lavelle, sorry if I butcher any of these names. What was your favorite section of the trail, hostels or towns?
Favorite section of the trail, probably the Virginia section. I really liked the way those the ridges were, and getting up in the morning and sitting across the valleys and the sunlight shining on the ridges. So probably Virginia was probably my favorite section in the southern part. I've not made any, you know, mystery that was, you know, I enjoyed the southern section more than I did the northern section. Maine was very pretty. As far as hostels, there were a couple of hostels that were good, a couple of that were bad. I enjoyed Weary Feet Hostel. It's a really nice, sort of more of a bed and breakfast style hostel. And then there's a couple of bad ones, but you know, on my videos I'll let you know which one they were, so I'm not going to go back and rehash that.
How did you manage or prevent ticks on the trail?
You know, this year everybody says that there weren't many ticks on the trail. I found 2 ticks on me, and they were crawling, and that was probably early Virginia section. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but it didn't find any ticks on me. And like I said, everybody I talked to said, and people that live in the area said they just wasn't a really bad tick season this year. I don't know that we had any. You know, as far as people I'm hiking with, I don't know that they ever found any ticks on them. So that was, I mean, I used some tick spray and, you know, put some Promethean on my clothes about 3 times. But I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or they just weren't that many ticks out.
Indy 67, are you missing the trail? But you already kind of got that one.
No,
and it says, I always wonder how the transition is coming back.
I'll be honest, to me there was no transition. I just came back home, took about 2 weeks off to mess around the house, and rest up a little bit and went back to work. So it hadn't hit me yet. I don't reckon. Maybe just like coming back at the end of a weekend, more or less, and or the end of a vacation and going back to work. So it wasn't for me really a transition in there that I had to get used to.
Tell Miss Nancy, hey. Hey.
Who said that?
KSMI, I don't know. I'm looking.
That's when you're supposed to be going.
I was.
I would get her to have these ready whenever we got to the next question.
But you're going so much faster. How much video time did you record daily, and how much time at night?
What I recorded daily is pretty much what you saw. I didn't do a whole lot of cutting and editing. If I came on a spot that I thought was worthy, I videoed it. And then when I felt like I had, the longer the day goes, the less you want the video anyway. So most of the videos was fairly early, and more in the morning, and it slacked down. Then by evening time, there wasn't a whole lot of video. And anyway, you're tired, you're just ready to get where you're going. So pretty much what you saw is what I videoed. Very little I've got edited out. So that's 15, 20 minutes videoing in a day. And is that the question? Was another part of it?
Well, this is from Chris Haggerty, and he said he would love to have a bloopers video from you.
There wasn't a whole lot of bloopers. I'd cut out, like, I'd start something.
I'm sure you and Bloodhound made some.
There wasn't. We didn't. It wasn't an acted script or anything, so there wasn't really any bloopers. I mean, what you got or what I said is.
It wasn't acted. I mean, it wasn't a script, so yeah.
Well, but it wasn't. I didn't cut out, anything that I would consider blooper worthy.
Okay, this is from Wanda. I don't know, half her name's cut off, but it said, but it's from Wanda. She wanted to know what kind of work you did, because you always seem so interested in rocks and landscapes on the trail. Well,
actually, I worked in wastewater pretty much my whole career. So it had nothing to do with forestry or anything. I was just raised out in the country, and I like the way that the rock outcroppings and stuff. I've always liked the way they look, like looking at them. So what I did in real life and what I do now has really had nothing to do with forestry or the woods or anything. I worked in wastewater, working on wastewater treatment plants and in pump stations and collection systems, and now I'm an inspector for an engineering firm doing construction inspection on construction sites.
Taking a walk adventure wants to know if you would. How did your gear hold up, and would you change any of your gear?
Pretty much all except my pack held up. Would I change gear? Yeah, as far as it goes, as far as the beginning, I wish I had started probably with my Hyperlight pack. I enjoyed that once I got it. The Osprey Exos, it for some reason wanted to rip down around the belt area about an inch from where it meets the pack. It started ripping for some reason on both sides. And it really never fit me comfortable. But other than that, probably not. I might go a different quilt or a heavier quilt. I may go with a as far as gear changes. Yeah, I'd probably go with a 0 degree sleeping bag instead of a quilt. Everyone that I was hiking with, they never had any problems with them whenever it got cold, where I was sort of getting cool. And I'd have to consider going with a hammock instead of a tent system, simply because there's just so many more areas, many more places that you can put a hammock instead of having to look for a tent spot on all the rocky areas and stuff. You can hike until near about dark, and it doesn't matter where you're at. Pretty much, you can find 2 trees that you can hang your hammock on, where you have to really search to try to find a spot to put your tent. And that might be the only difference. If I were going to do something, I might go with a hammock system instead of the tents.
All right, Susan Hughes from Fayette, actually. She wants to know what was
Is she from Fayette?
Yeah, she said, I bet you know their family. Says, what was the most important gear to you on your hiking journey?
Most important gear?
Was communication with me.
Would you consider that gear? It's hard to say what most important gear was. It's hard to say. You know, your backpack is you got to have a backpack that you can, that fits you and you can hike with. But
I don't think they mean the obvious. I mean, other than the basic three, I guess. And what would be something? I mean, that's how I would interpret that question. What was something you couldn't do without?
I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed I think an umbrella. I think everybody needs an umbrella instead of trying to do just a coat or a poncho. The umbrella would be a really important piece of gear. But I'm not sure. Can't really say what my most important piece of gear was.
Well, you liked your cook system.
Well, yeah,
I
baby.
Because you said you liked having the hot meals and not the cold meals.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go with cold soaking. I enjoyed the stove and stuff, but I mean,
Okay. Patrick Casey wants to know, do you plan to get in touch with any of your hiking partners?
Well, I mean,
you've already been talking to them.
I've talked to them some. I tried, I'm going to try to keep in touch.
You've talked to Camper, and you've talked to Hot Grease and Bloodhound.
So, yeah, I plan on it, as much as possible. I'd like to stay in touch with them, and hopefully they feel the same. So, right now, yeah, we are staying in touch.
All right. What is your favorite things to eat on the trail?
Favorite things to eat on the trail?
What was your favorite thing to eat on the trail? Both to fix and not to fix. This is Paulina Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably. I mean, really the best. My favorite would have been the mountain houses because they were so simple and you could fix them real quick. So it's really hard to.
I don't know. I kept hearing you talk about honey buns.
Well, for breakfast we eat a lot of honey buns. Anything that has a lot of calories, that's what you want to eat. So hadn't really thought about it. What would be my favorite thing because you go through so much stuff and then before it's over with, you've done so many things and I don't necessarily remember what all I done at the beginning.
Well, I know you did a video at the beginning. You said something about soups and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I never did soups, and I never really done soups and mashed potatoes after about the first or second week. The pre stuff like mountain houses they're just so much. They're expensive, but they're so much easier to just have ready when you're there. There's the ramen noodles. Ate quite a few of those, so. That just changes, and I'd hate to say what my favorite was on the trail, at one time, because it changed so much.
Quiet John wants to know, why did you do the crazy thing and go back to work?
Got to make a living, you got to pay bills, and I had them paid up till the end of August, so didn't want people knocking on my door when I got home, so got to work to pay bills.
Sorry. How are your feet doing? They're still on the trail. He wanted to know how your feet were doing.
They're still a little sore. I say they feel like they're numb or asleep. Just they're starting to come around a little bit, but I can still, I'm still walking with a sort of a odd feeling on my feet, and try not to do too much, just walking on a hard surface or something is, try to stay on the softest spots I can find. But they're coming around. I believe it'll take a couple more months before they're back to normal.
Keith Carper, he asked a lot of questions about fishing, but he said, when and how did the idea of a through hike hit you?
As far as the idea of the through hike, I wanted to do this since the late 70s, early 80s. I read a book. It wasn't about the Appalachian Trail itself, but it was My Walk Across America by a guy named Peter Jenkins, and he followed the Appalachian mountain chain down and talked about his journey as he came south. And that sort of got me interested in doing something like that. Then I heard about the trail, and pretty much since then I've been wanting to do it, and life happened, and I had to put it on the back burner, and which I told Nancy before we got married I was going to do it at some point in time. We've been married now 30 years, so she knew before we got married I was wanting to do it. So that's how the idea came up, and then I retired 3 years ago, and so I decided now's the time if I'm going to do it. I'm not getting any younger, so went ahead, and that's why I went ahead and done it this year.
All right, going back to food, is there any trail food that you don't ever care to eat again?
I wouldn't say no. There's nothing that I do.
You change food
Yeah,
every
you
time.
change. Yeah,
I mean,
you change food so much. Me personally, that I can't think of any one thing that I wouldn't eat again. So yeah.
And I know when we first started talking about this, we were talking about sending boxes ahead and all that. And I'm kind of glad we didn't do that, because I could see you getting tired of something.
Yeah.
So.
Put a little story in here. Back in Desert Storm, I was in Germany, and I did not go to Desert Storm. I stayed at the base I was on, and then after Desert Storm, I went into Turkey on the Kurdish refugee program for 6 months, and Denny Moore and beef stew, and I appreciate Denny Moore, and I support them and I thank them for all they did, but they had sent a shipment over to the troops during the storm, and it didn't make it, so it got sent to us, and there in Turkey. So we had no telling how many cases of Denny Moore beef stew sent to us in Turkey, and our cooks used that. I had it for breakfast, I had it for lunch, I had it for dinner. Any way you can imagine making Denny Moore beef stew, and like I said, I appreciate Denny Moore and everything they did for the troops, but I haven't eaten any more Denny Moore beef stew, and that's probably the only thing that I have just never eaten any more of, because I had to eat so much of it at that time. So that's just sort of a side story on that. But as far as on the trail, I don't think I ate anything on the trail that was too much.
James Bailey wants to know any post-trail depression.
Not for me. I just, like I said, I feel like I just came off of a sort of an extended vacation and fell right back into the groove of things. My brothers and my friends and stuff, they were getting ready to start doing the fall work for hunting season and stuff, and we jumped right back in just like I'd not been gone, and everything picked up. So there's no depression for me. So it may hit someday, but right now I'm fine. So, but look, that's a 19 minutes on this video, so we're probably going to split it into 2 videos. So I appreciate y'all watching this first one right here. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to end this one. We'll get it out. Thanks for watching. We're fixing to start the second one. So I'm going to cut it right here. And I'll start right back with the second one. So it'll be out in another day or so. So you ain't got to watch so much video at one time. Again, thanks for watching.